if this problem that we face in Africa is actually the same thing in other countries as well. But here in Nigeria, we notice that there's no provision for young people after secondary school, after university, I mean. So, and it's something that is really, disheartening for the fact that we are raising a generation of people that are not equipped for the future. I used to say something that there is no one as clueless as a young graduate. You graduate, after graduation, what next? What are we supposed to do? It just breaks my heart, right? So that is why we're having this conversation, co-create solutions to the problem that the youth are facing. Talk about the problem they are facing in our country in their breakout session so that we can all come together and have a valid conversation. At the end of this session, our objective is that every single person is going to leave this meeting knowing what to do next. I think I have to move to Daniela. Daniela, are you ready for us to tell us how are you doing in Chile? How does it look like? What is the provision that the government, currently have, for the youth in your country? Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you for having me here. First of all, I think it's important to highlight that youth development is something that I see not just as a topic for discussion, but as a reality we work on every day. In Chile, young people represent around 22% of the population, because while some have access to quality education, others face overcrowded classroom, resource shortage, limited access to higher education, especially in rural areas and indigenous communities. The transition from education to labor market, it is often marked by uncertainty. Many of these job positions, they demand levels of years of experience that young people simply have not had the chance to gain. Digital access, which should be a great equalizer, still reflects these divides. This means that thousands of young people struggle to access online learning, remote work, and the global of exchanging ideas. For young leaders, this can mean being left out of important conversations simply because of where they live. Central Chile has endured a major drought for over 15 years. With rainfall deficit up to 30%, this crisis undermines agriculture, biodiversity, and water security. All of these pressures, economic uncertainty, digital exclusion, environmental crisis, and weakening on social trust, also take a toll on young people's mental health and emotional well-being. And overall well-being, creating a cycle that must be addressed as part of any serious youth development strategy.
So I would like to speak from lived experiences. And I think one of the major problems we have as young people in specifically Nigeria is that we are not prepared for anything. There is a gap in preparation. So people who graduate are not prepared for today's world. They are not prepared for what they come out and see after they graduate. So we're not prepared for the government, we're not prepared for the workspace, we're not prepared for anything. And like what you said, Gracious, when you opened, it's a problem of lack of information. And so you see that people go through school from primary school to university. We're looking at about 20 years, and they cannot articulate, they are not really prepared for anything within the country. So the curriculums are outdated, the opportunities are not there, the emerging opportunities are not getting back into school. For example, I studied medical laboratory science, and I'm a monitoring and evaluation officer today. And at the same time, I'm doing a postgraduate diploma in One Health. So if you look at my trajectory from what I studied in university, I have a master's in infection prevention and control, to what I do at work, to what I'm aspiring to do further, you will see a whole lot of mismatch and gaps. It's not just, it doesn't just reflect, it's not lack of purpose, it's a reflection of the attempt to survive. So when you come out from school, as a young person, like you said, you begin to try to survive. And when you begin to try to survive, what happens is that your learning, your actual learning for value and relevance begins. That's when it now begins. So every other thing so we are not really prepared for it. So for me, the major problem we have is youth unemployment, youth underutilization, and I would say maybe youth unproductivity. And all of this is because we don't have systems that take us in. We don't have opportunities that are aligned with what we spent a whole lot of our life learning, and also so these are the major challenges I think most young persons are facing in Africa. And so for me, I think I was a time I had to start a program, mentor some youths to come into monitoring and evaluation. They study different things in the university. So I began to look at, okay, how do we bridge university study, what people studied in school, and what they are coming to face out there? How do we find a way to create a bridge that can actually create that bridge so that they don't come into a shock? So now people come out and glamorize that there are some courses that are irrelevant in Nigerian universities. They are not irrelevant in the body of knowledge, but they are irrelevant in the body of use because there are no opportunities to take them in. So this problem of people not being prepared, people coming out there and starting life again, and all of that is one of the major challenge that we are having in this part of the world. We have a society that glorifies kind of glamorize glory and they shame growth. So everybody's looking for that I am thrilled to announce. Everybody's looking for I am thrilled to announce. Everybody's looking for. So a whole lot of person, there is this pursuit for what we make the waves on social media. There is the social media epidemic and all. So you have young people that are not patient to learn anything, people that don't understand growth, people are suffering depression because we are all pursuing glory, we are all glamorizing glory. Someone was said in some primary schools now, they are giving awards for the tallest person in class, the most quiet student, because everybody wants to come up to the stage, whether it adds to anything or not. So we need to begin to bring back values that you can grow. Things take time. Things need to go over time and all of that. We need to bring that back into our society, Africa, for young people. You are not a failure. You are not failing. You are just in the process. You are growing. Things are taking place naturally on their own course. So this whole everything of I got some 5 master students to come and apply for a cameraman position, and somebody is just saying, how do people study masters, they can't find job? And we need to change that in our country. And then we need to move from tokenism to meaningful youth engagement. So all this, we want a fellowship and we just bring youth, they just come for youth fellowship, they are not making any decision, they are not in any board, they don't contribute to anything. You just give them a scholarship, come and attend conference, we give 10 youth scholarship. That is tokenism. You are just giving us stipends. Take $200. We want meaningful engagement. Let us be part of the process, be part of the decision making. Let us be part of those who are making these choices and these strategies. I think I will stop here. Thank you so much.
And the challenges that are being faced in Nigeria are not so different from what we're experiencing in Zambia. So back to the question that Mr. Gracious asked, what is the government doing about the challenges youths are facing and how are they helping us? Well, here in Zambia, the transition has never been smooth, especially for a lot of young people that are in universities or other tertiary institutions. The manufacturing process of young people and building them into useful personnel for different areas of work has been very effective. And of course, the government has scaled the increase it has increased the number of young people that go into universities, but the job market has been very unfriendly, and the policies that protect young people are very unfavorable. So one of the major issues that we experience is there's a new wave of materialized volunteerism, where young people are told to volunteer for a period that they cannot even bear. But as a young person, how can you grow? Because when you go to university, you are investing your time, your effort, your resources into finding a place in the markets that will intend that will in turn also give you a point of reaping the work that you have put in. That's not the only challenge. Other challenges that exist is that there are young people that choose to go the path of non-governmental organization or to find or to start civil societies. But there's this unfriendliness. There are no policies that protect them. There's no funding to help them. Some 4 years ago, we had a young person that started a young person that did an innovative project where they made cookers that were using solar, and this was a project that was visited and seen, and it just died out like that because there's no protection of the innovations that young people are coming up with. The other biggest challenge that we have is voicing out. The voicing out platforms are very minimal. So you find that the few young people that go, the few young people that attend conferences and activities are young people that are already learned, are young people that have already benefited from the school system. But the question is, what about the majority of our brothers and sisters that don't have the opportunity to be in school? What about them? How do we also include them to be part of such dialogues? How do we shift the conversation from everyday policy making, everyday let's move in this particular direction, to actually starting moving in those particular directions? How do we move from word to impact? How do we move from theory to tangible work that transforms the lives of young men and women? Because it is very disheartening for countries to be talking about this is what we intend to do in 10 years. How long ago did most of the countries attain independency, especially for African countries? So we have a vast potential that is sitting in the over 400 million youths distributed across Africa. But are we really tapping into the potential? We need to go back to assessing the value of skills, understanding what can skills do for our young people. We need to go back to making sure that in as much as the government has to provide employment for our young people that are in tertiary institutions, for our brothers and sisters that are home and have no access to good education, what soft skills can we give them so that we drive Africa forward as a whole?
Challenges that we face in my country, especially in Cameroon, as the educational system is quite poor in my area. We also have youth unemployment. You have at least 8,000 people looking for jobs. How would they be able to get the job? How would they be able to get that job? That's actually a big problem that we face in our community with respect to unemployment. And I don't know if the government will ever be able to solve that, because no matter as the youth are coming into the age of employment, you see that those who are already there, that's the old, are not living. So it means the old are not even living to create space for the youth to come in. But at the end of the day, they're going to call us that we are the youth, that we are the future of tomorrow. How are we the future of tomorrow when you don't give us the space in order to show you that we are that future? Confuse educational purpose with vocational training. In a vocational training, people go and learn about that skills, to gain skills, to acquire skills. But in education, you get to acquire the theoretical part especially. And that's when I noticed that a lot of people don't know that there are other ways through which they can gain what skills, such as LinkedIn. You have vocational training. People think that they can just come to school and be educated and the skills appear. You have the theory, but you can't apply it. You might have the idea, but you don't have the finances in order to bring the idea or that project back to life.
Youth development in South Africa is growing. We have a particular department that is actually, given the responsibility to implement youth development, and they are found in all the government departments as well as local government level. And they are implementing across all the provinces, but the challenge that we are seeing is that they are not independent. So they're not given the resources to actually execute the work that they have been entrusted with. And that means that they need to rely on government departments to fund their work, which you can imagine is very difficult. Because young people also face so many social and structural drivers that are leading to them not reaching their full potential. So we spoke about education being integral, in youth development. And that means that they need to rely on government departments to fund their work, which you can imagine is very difficult. Because young people also face so many social and structural drivers that are leading to them not reaching their full potential. So we spoke about education being integral, in youth development. And that means that they need to rely on government departments to fund their work, which you can imagine is very difficult. So development, but how do we make sure that young people actually are able to access education? That South Africa is a 4IR country, but does everyone actually have access to all of these digital platforms that are now being made available? Are they not just serving the very same youth over and over again? Us, the people that have access to computers and internet and Wi-Fi, what do we do about the young people that are in rural areas? You know, how do we ensure that they participate in the dialogue that's going on in the country? So I also want to emphasize the importance of communities taking the initiative to lead in youth development. I think young people know their problems more than everyone else, and they need to be at the forefront, leading from the communities, because the communities know where the problems are. I work for SANAC, and through SANAC and the Gauteng Provincial Government and the AIDS Council, we're working very closely with the civil society, the private sector, because we need to ensure that we're speaking to business just as much as we're speaking to government. And then, of course, the civil society at the center, ensuring that they are keeping institutions accountable to implement the policies that are on the ground. We don't want policies that are there just looking great, that say South Africa is doing this and that. What we want is action. And what we want is collaboration between all of these institutions, including government departments, that need to do away with working in silos. We all need to work together. We all need to have the same strategies, and let's find opportunities where policies are, dissolving or coming to an end. 2030 is very near. All of us are chasing Agenda 2030, and we need to make sure that we're aligning. We are putting our resources together for the same good, and we're all going to ensure that youth in Africa are developed holistically. Thank you.
Youth development in Nigeria is both a challenge and also an opportunity. With the right investment in education, I feel we're going to be getting a better youth. And again, I think I have a group already. I'm in room 9. And I hope to have a collaborative environment to work with others so that we can bring up a very good product at the end of the session. Thank you very much for organizing this, let's say, success and progress for us all, the youth. I really appreciate, and I am happy to be part of this progress today.